So I definitely believe that the money is made from the back end, not the front end, but
Mm-hmm.
we are very good at saying, I need a website and I need a logo. I need to make my colors good and my aesthetics good. And that's great. That will attract the client. However, it's the back end where the money and the repeat money is made. Like 82% of our clientele is repeat clientele on purpose because I've created the back end for that to happen. And so for me, when I'm creating a client's back end from a professional service standpoint, we have to figure out when they say hello, what's the process for that? When they say I need more information, like what's the process for that? When they say like, okay, I'm ready to work and sign the contract, like what's the process for that? And when we're done working with them, how do we go back to them to get some more money? So now old clients can become new clients.
You're listening to the Black to Business Podcast, an educational podcast providing Black entrepreneurs with the tools and resources to start and grow their businesses. We chat with vetted Black entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and business owners as they provide tips and resources to help take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall. Happy Black History Month! Okay, so today's topic is the perfect way to enter the month. So I know that there are tons of advertising and messaging around supporting Black businesses during this month. So you definitely want to make sure that you got your business in order because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So imagine having this awesome website, banging logo, and getting potential clients all excited about your business just for you not to have a solid system and process in place once they're ready to buy. Now, you might have a handful that would give you grace, but that's rare, especially as a Black business owner. Then there are those who, rightfully so, don't plan to support your business again. And I'm here to tell you that the issue is likely you not focusing on getting your business back in order. So the business back end is what happens behind the scenes. It includes processes like customer service, accounting, and human resources that support your operations and enable your business to run smoothly. This is the part of business that most entrepreneurs struggle with because they're so bogged down with the day-to-day in their business, they don't have the time nor the energy to focus on their back end. Not only is having your back end in order important for providing a great customer experience, but it also allows you to have a quality of life in business. Our guest today, Bianca Robinson, is going to show you exactly how to get your back end in order while keeping it simple, even if you have a small and mighty team of one. As the president of Cayden Consulting, Bianca focuses on helping businesses develop and manage their business infrastructure needs. The beautiful thing about the work that Bianca is doing is that she's also teaching business leaders how to work smarter and not harder so that they are able to create a life that makes sense. Y'all, this is definitely a good episode, so let's dive in. Bianca, welcome to the Black to Business Podcast. Excited to have you here, so welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Yay! So before we dive into today's discussion, if you could just share with my audience a little bit, we're going to dive into it further, but just a little bit about who you are, what is it that you do in your business, and how you got where you are today.
Okay, so we only got a couple seconds, huh? So let's see how we can wrap this up. But I am a global project manager and a business growth strategist. I help those in the professional service sector to be able to create lifestyle business models. I believe that we started these businesses for a quality of life and to make money on our own terms and just to really own our time, energy, and effort. But we traded in our 40-hour work week, and now we say, I don't work for somebody else for 40 hours a week, but I work for myself 80 hours a week, and that really just doesn't make sense. So I'm into you being able to use your intellectual property that you have acquired over these years to build your influence, impact, and income. So we're knowledge diversification experts. I want you to make money multiple different ways, but not in multiple different businesses. I believe one asset can create 7 different streams of income, not 7 different sources. And so I show my clients how to make more money by working less. And so I've been doing this for the past 10 years as a full-time entrepreneur, but really doing what I love and what I knew I wanted to do from the beginning, which is this business for the past maybe 3 years.
Got it. I love that. And I love the message and working smarter, not harder. And in addition to, your business, one of the things you also do is you're a professor teaching business operations and project management in downtown Chicago College. Can you talk about how your role as a professor allows you to fully serve your clients and truly understand their business needs?
So honestly, to be just full transparent, that was always my goal, to own my own business in the daytime and then be an adjunct professor at nighttime. And so I accomplished that goal in 2019. But as I realized, I really don't like it. Like, I do not teaching. I don't like teaching students. I like to teach more adults. And so that's what I've learned. Like, students are totally different than just adults, because I want to give you the information and I want you to make the educated decision whether you want to implement it now, next week, or later. But with students, I need them to implement the information now so we can grade it so you can go to the next level. And so for me, my teaching style kind of conflicted from a student perspective, because I'm like, well, why you didn't do it? Well, what you going to do? And I'm normally not that accountability person. I'm a consultant and a strategist. So I want to give you the tools that you need, but I'm not there to see it come into fruition. But for the students, I had to literally be there for it to come into fruition. And so my patience wasn't that great. It was just like, why you didn't do it? We only got this amount of time. I'm like, let's do it. And so I learned then that I am into training and working more with adults than and business owners versus students. And so now I'm just a lecturer where I go to different colleges and universities to do a guest lecture, but I don't have my own class anymore.
Okay. Well, great. That was a good realization. At least you were honest. And so many people stick to it and they don't like it.
Yeah, and they don't like it and it doesn't work. And so I feel like I'm very good with, if you have a question, let me address it. If you're ready to work, I'm ready to work. But it was just, and the students in my first college, they spoke, English was their second language, not their first. So it was a language barrier, a cultural barrier, and things of that nature. And so I just wasn't equipped to be able to maneuver, but they loved me. But I just feel like I wasn't the best person for the job to give them what it was that they needed to get them where they were trying to go. And so even though the university was like, no, we could figure it out, I was just like, I feel like I should just bow out and just become a guest lecturer. And so I realized that a year in.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. And it brings me to my next question. One of the things you talk about a lot in your business is the fact that, and you also mentioned in the beginning, that business owners fall out of love with their businesses due to overexertion. And what you could have done in your case was like, English isn't their first language. I got to figure all of this out. And then you'll be overexerting yourself. So, but you didn't do that. And one of the things you notice is a lot of business owners, they do face this issue. So in your experience, like, how is this happening and how can we make sure that it stops happening?
So it's kind of a twofold, because we really are dedicated to our craft about what it is that we do. Like, we know what we're good at, but being a business owner, you have to do what you're good at, what you're not good at, and things of that nature. You just can't wake up and say, I want to knit and just focus on knitting, because now you got to sell it, you got to market it, you got to promote it, you got to be HR, you got to be the executive assistant, you have to be, all of those people. And so we just want to do the craft, but in order to have a business, you have to do the business things that is required for you to sell your actual craft. And so we're burnt out from all of the other things that's required for us to make the money, not necessarily us showing up to do our job, because we love that. That's our area of genius. That's where we thrive. But now I made it. Now I got to market, sell it, do the funnel, tell the people to get it, learn Facebook ads, do YouTube. And so we're burnt out from all of those different angles, but all of those things are required in order for you to make money. The knitting was the requirement. You had to do that regardless. Anyway, but now the thing that falls short is us selling it. And so that's why when we get overworked, burnt out, and tired, it affects our revenue, because we're willing to do anything else but to put ourselves out there to sell this particular product and services that we need to sell in order to make the money. And so I just got very clear that we don't love the business. And that was just me. Like, I fell out of love with it because everything else I had to do in order to make the money, I didn't like that part. But in business, you have to learn how to do that, or you have to outsource it. And in the beginning, we don't have the money to outsource it. And I also feel like you can't check what you don't know. So I've been in business for 10 years. And so we wasn't outsourcing it when I first got started. We had to learn how to kind of be everything. Now people outsource it, but you can't check what you don't know. And so I feel like even if you're going to outsource it, you should be able to do some parts of it, not the whole part, but sometimes. And so that burnout and that exertion, that comes from us not being clear on, you know what, I'm going to do this part that I like to do, but this part I really don't like to do, but it needs to get done. Okay, well, let me just kind of push through that. Like, we don't have a plan. And so we kind of get boggled down in the day-to-day and the stresses, and then it takes a toll on our personal life and our business. And so we don't have a quality of life or a quality of business. And so we just tired, burnt out, overworked, and just depressed. And so I think in order to navigate that, I'm really good at pivoting. Like, I know, like, okay, I'm willing to do this for 6 months. What do I need in these 6 months while I'm doing it? Oh, I accomplished that in 4 months instead of 6. Okay, well, what's my next thing that I'm supposed to pivot to? And so I'm a phaser in and phaser outer and a professional pivoter. Like, I know in this season I need to get this so that I can get to the next season. But we don't think 6, 7 steps ahead. So that's what I get paid to do.
Love it. And a bigger part of that also is what we're going to talk about today is understanding the need to get your business back in order. So let's dive into businesses back end. So what actually is a business back end, and why do you feel it's important for entrepreneurs to really focus on getting these things in place?
That's a good question. So I definitely believe that the money is made from the back end, not the front end, but we are very good at saying, I need a website and I need a logo. I need to make my colors good and my aesthetics good. And that's great. That will attract the client. However, it's the back end where the money and the repeat money is made. Like 82% of our clientele is repeat clientele on purpose, because I've created the back end for that to happen. And so for me, when I'm creating a client's back end from a professional service standpoint, we have to figure out when they say hello, what's the process for that? When they say I need more information, like, what's the process for that? When they say, like, okay, I'm ready to work and sign the contract, like, what's the process for that? And when we're done working with them, how do we go back to them to get some more money? So now old clients can become new clients. And so really understanding that, hi, I need help, I'm ready to close, I want to give you some more money. And so that back end is making sure that the questions that the client would have in order for you to make more money, that needs to be done. So for example, when they say hi, it takes a lot of courage for somebody first to email you to even say that they need help. So when they say hi, they're looking for additional information. So do you have a welcome funnel set up to say, hi, I'm super excited that you reached out. I want to know where you are and how I can help you. And so, click here to learn more information about me. Here's a couple freebies, things of that nature. And so once they come in, now they're excited. So now I need to keep that anticipation and that excitement going. Well, I'm not doing it from a service perspective, but I'll definitely do it from a funnel, a back end, automation perspective. And so is that automation set up to keep them building a like, know, and trust, and then kind of converting them into buying a product or service and giving you some money. And so that back end is really what most people drop the ball on, because we just want them to say, hello, give us some money. But what if they're not ready? And once they give us some money, are you onboarding or offboarding them properly so that they can give you more money? So I like to focus on the human component from a sales perspective, but everything else in the back end can be automated. Like, you can automate that. And if they have questions, that's that human component. Hey, email me back if you have questions, comments, and concerns. Hey, call the office. This is our office hours. So a lot of us don't have that. We do all the work to get the client on the front end, but then when they come, we drop the ball when that's really where the money is.
So good. This is good. And speaking of front end, Bianca, can you talk about the difference between, so my audience understands, the front end and the back end?
Yeah. So when you think about the front end, I always say, like, the front of the house, think of like a restaurant. So it's the wait staff, it's the hostess, it's the people that you actually see. So for our perspective, it would be the website, the logo, it would be the brochures, like everything, like to get the clients to come inside, the signage. But that back end is really what makes the restaurant make money. So it's the cook, it's the manager, it's the busboy, it's the bartender, it's the the person that comes if you drop your drink and like clean up the floor. Like those are the people that really make the restaurant happen and where the money is actually made. Because you could be a waitress all day, but if the cook ain't there to cook the food, then you're not going to make any money. And so you have to be clear on, is my back end secure? And so from a back end, that could be your product, that could be the service, that could be the payment link. That could be the client experience of, hi, thank you for purchasing. You know, these are your next steps. It could be the gifts. Like my love language is acts of service and gifts. And so gifts are a big thing here. So when they sign up, are you sending them a thank you card? Are you sending them a gift? And so that's kind of that back end of it to like nurture the client and to have them being like, oh my God, this is the best experience ever. Like I want to give her all my money. I don't want to leave. But we focus on the sales page and a little logo when you don't even need none of that to be able to get the client for real. It's the back end. As long as the back end is good, I feel like it will trickle over to the front. But when the front is good and the back is good, that's when your reputation and what you bring to the table and just your word kind of it declines. But we've all bought something from the store that looked good and we tasted it and it was nasty. You like, oh, they got my money the first time, but they won't get my money again. But we've also went to the store and bought something like, oh, it didn't really look that good, but we tried it and we're like, oh my God, like this is great. So they just need to work on presentation, but they have they're a long lasting client. But the person that has pretty presentation with a horrible back end and customer service, you're like, they'll never get my money again. And so I want you to be the one that has the nice back end, and the front end can be okay. Like you can tweak that, you can fix that, but the back end, I feel like it's no reason why it shouldn't be up to par.
Like that shocking. I'm like, oh, this is actually legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And so, you know, people love to hear about, okay, how is this going to affect my bottom line? So I want to talk about the financial impact of one, focusing on getting these things in place as far as your back end, but then also the repercussions of not focusing on this.
So from a financial standpoint, and so I work with those in professional services. And so we are coaches, consultants, and service providers. I feel like from a back end perspective, we like to use the tools that we see other people using, not knowing that your business isn't there yet. So you don't have to use all of those tools. It just needs to be functional and clean. And so I just did a training on kind of like how to run your coaching and consulting business for under $50 a month. And so I feel like for a simple back end, I would say you need a CRM system. And so that's like the customer relation management system where like all of the client's information, their name, their email, their birthday, the last time you talked to them, like what's due, like that's kind of the brains. And so I definitely think you need a CRM system. And then I feel like you definitely going to need like a free conference call, like a Zoom, some type of platform. And then you're going to need like a Google Drive or something like that to kind of be able to house the information. And then I would say the last thing would probably be like a payment, like a QuickBooks or something like that to be able to accept bigger payments. But I feel like for a back end to run from a financial perspective, like if it's done correctly, you only need about $50, $60. And then you just kind of, you know what I'm saying, like upgrade. But if that back end isn't good, you're not going to make enough money so that you can afford to have something else. And so I feel like that is kind of my essentials for the back end. But if your back end isn't in order, you're not going to make any repeat money or any additional money. Because I'm going to tell somebody like, hey, I know it's cute, but my experience was not that great. It was kind of all over the place. It wasn't working. Like it's expensive and I do not see where my money is going. Like you don't want a client to be able to say that like they charge all this money and I got that, when you don't have to spend a lot of money to run like a Fortune 500 or run like a corporation. Like it doesn't cost a lot. It's just really you being clear on that's a priority. Instead of me doing his logo and redoing my logo, let me find a better CRM system. Let me learn the system and everything that it has to offer. Like how can I connect this to get my time back? So I would say that would kind of be the financial repercussions of not putting these systems in place.
Awesome. And Bianca, one of the things that you mentioned, and I love that you talk about this in your message, is operating in excellence versus perfection. Yeah. So we've kind of walked through that now. This is the Black to Business podcast, and we are Black entrepreneurs. And you know how we are under a microscope when it comes to, conducting our business. So how do you find that balance? Like, because I'm one of those people that I want it to be perfect because I don't want nobody talking about me. So, but that does delay, you getting started and putting things into action. So what would you say to people to have that perfect, that balance, especially as Black entrepreneurs?
So I tell people all the time, is perfect Patty is broke. You know what I'm saying? It's the get things done Susan that is really out here, making it happen, because you learn as you go. Like, you learn nothing from succeeding, but learn everything from failure. And so in order for you to learn how to make it better, you have to put yourself in a position where it is going to fail. Like, and so once you realize that, yes, the product is going to fail, the service it's going to, because it's something new. Like, you've never done it before. And so in my mind, it's like a baby that is kind of learning to walk. Like, yeah, we got it, but we're going to stumble, and then we're going to get up, and then we're going to stumble. But once we fall 6-7 times, it's like, now we can really walk. So it's the same thing. Like, put your stamp of approval on it. If I think that is good, you're going to think it's excellent, because I am my own worst critic. So as long as I can get this is good, I'm going to put it out. And then I'm waiting for your feedback. We don't, as Black businesses, we don't spend money and time into the research and development phase when that's $1 billion industry. It's the reason why they're giving you, $300 for you to try this new cereal, and $500 for a sleep study, and $150 for your dog to try this dog food, and, $300 for you to come in and talk about this product, because they're trying to perfect it. They put it out. I think this is great. Okay, let's get some feedback so that we can figure out, if it worked or not, or any questions, comments, and concerns. But we don't do that. We feel like, I've been working on this project for 8 months. Okay, I haven't told anybody about it. I got it. It's good. And now you put it out, and then it doesn't sell. Right. Because that's what you wanted. You don't pay you. I pay you. So why you didn't ask me what I felt about it, and if it should be changed, and if it worked. But then we get discouraged because we didn't work on it for 8 months. We put it out there and we get crickets, and nobody purchased it, and now we get discouraged. But what you should have did is made something, like, for me, I'll say, like, hey, today I'm really thinking about doing a class about this, and this. Like, if you're interested, comment and let me know. Once they say I'm interested, yes, I'm interested. Okay, I'm going to go make the sales page now. And then I'm going to make the sales page, and I'm going to say, go back to those 8 people that commented on that post and say, hey, Brittany, I see you said you was interested. The investment is for this. However, it's a beta, because I'm used to doing this one-on-one, but now I want to do it in a group. So it's normally $200, but, I want to do this beta. So in exchange for me giving you, $100 off, I'm looking for feedback, and I need to be able to use this for my case studies, so is that something that we can do? And they're going to say yes. And so you're going to try it on this small group, perfect it with them, then you're going to put it out again. But you've made money on it, got research, development, testimonials, video footage, and everything now. So when you put it back out again, you already got 8 people that said it was great and it's amazing. But we don't do that. We want to do it first, then put it out, and now we're mad. But I operate in excellence, not perfection. Excellence is good enough for me. I'm going to put it out, and you're going to tell me how to make it better. And I use the analogy all the time that we buy these iPhones, and every day it is an update on these iPhones. And we paid all these money for the phones. But they were very clear that this phone was excellent, not perfect. And it's going to have kinks, and it's going to be messed up. But we're going to wait for them to tell us what's wrong with it, and we're going to change it as we go. And we didn't pay thousands of dollars for these phones, but they've made all of their money plus more money, because now new phones and new specs and new things are coming out. And so while you waiting to make your first $100, I've probably made, 12 times more than that, making the mistakes when you're still trying to figure out, am I going to put it out? Are they going to like it? And you not talk yourself out of it when Get Things Done Susan over here has made all of the money and all of the mistakes while you still in the lab.
Well. Free game. Well said. Let's talk about it. All right. So now that you've given us the importance of setting these things up in place, let's talk about actually doing the work. So One of the things you mentioned earlier was automation, because many people think that they have to be the one that manages these back end. And I'm so glad that you said, you don't have to be the one to do that. Get these automations and systems in place. So let's talk about how do people actually do that, and why they don't have to be the one to actually do the work when it comes to the back end.
Right. No, because I feel like for the back end, like that's something that a $40 or $60 system can do. And you are your most valuable player on the team, aka the most expensive. And so I don't want you to spend the time trying to learn these systems and in depth and figure out how to do it when you are really the front line that has to be the hostess that brings the people in. Like, you're the shiny object that has to bring these people in on the front end. So I tell my clients all the time, I set it up, but I want to train you or your virtual assistant or your staff or somebody to just be able to maintain what was built. Because even if you try to build it on your own, you're not an expert in it. So it's not going to be great. But I will say, if you want to do it on your own, just take a project at a time. I have this ebook. It's like a 52 weekend project where every weekend we all have like these projects that we want to do, but they don't make any money. And so they're not deserving to go through our Monday through Friday time frame, because that's when we're really working with clients who have given us some money. But those are definitely your weekend projects where on Friday you outline what you want to work on for the weekend. Then you spend about 2-3 hours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday kind of working on it. And so now you have something that's concrete, and now you can figure out if that should go into the mix of the week, or if it's something that can build upon it. And so a lot of the stuff that you want to do versus like operations and like back end and just whatever it is you want to do to kind of grow your business, it's not a money generating activity yet, because it's not in a position where somebody can give you some money for it yet. So it's really just the idea. But if you work on those ideas and say, you know what, these are my ideas that I want to work on, and work on them on the weekend, then you would be able to put it inside of the mix of your week so that you can make some money. And so I feel like from an operations standpoint, the back end is where the customer service and the client experience should be like automated. But on the front end, it should be you marketing. It should be you going live. It should be you posting on your social media. It should be you, doing podcast interviews. It should be you putting a brand out there. That's a money generating activity. Well, once they click the link to purchase, none of the work has to be done because it's already automated already. Now you just got to get back out there and talk to more people, but the back end of the work will already be done already.
Got it. And speaking of, you touched on like the operations, I want to talk about the role of strategy and project management in this process, because you are a project manager. So just talking about how people create the strategy to know what they want to work on, because this is an investment of time, of resources, but also time.
Agree. And so you have to really figure out, I tell people all the time, you got to have the time capital, the financial capital, and then the human capital. And so the human capital is like the sweat equity of another person. And so that human capital is, your assistant or your VA or you. I'm totally for you working your 9 to 5 as you being the worker in your business, but using that 6 to 10 to put on your CEO hat to try to build these strategies and growth metrics, because we can't do them at the same time. So you have to work the 9 to 5 to fulfill the obligations of what the client actually paid you to do if you are a team of one. But after that, you need to get in the shower, make yourself some food, put on some new clothes, and say, okay, I'm on my 6 to 10 now. This is how we're really going to grow this business. And these are the strategies and metrics that I feel should get me there. And a lot of times we don't do that. We work on client work and our work and everybody else's work at the same time from morning to night. But our businesses kind of takes the toll of not getting done. And I tell my clients all the time, the client is never more important than your business. Like, they're working with you because of what you do in your business. And so you are the most important person, not the client. Like, it's you. If you don't have a good business, if you don't take care of your back end and you don't take care of your workflow, you won't have any clients. And so you have to make sure that your model is done. Like, I meet people that's like, oh, I'm a social media manager, but they got 30 followers. Like, how does that work? Like, how are you going to manage this? Like, oh, I'm so busy working on my client stuff that I don't have the time to work on mine. But it's a harder sell because now you got to convince me and show me, versus if you were the model and you was building up your own social media, your own profile, I would just say, I want that. Like, give me that. Like, I see that you can do it. I know that you can do it because I see you do it every day in your own business. Send me the invoice for that. But when we are not taking care of our own business, it's a harder sell. So I think the time capital, if you don't have any money, you have to put in the time. So that's you working your 9 to 5, which is the clients, and then a 6 to 10, which is yours. The financial capital, I believe no matter how much money you make, you should set aside enough for personal and professional development. My family used to think I was really bad with money because if a client paid me $300 and my bills was $250 and I had $50 left, I'm trying to figure out who I can get this $50 to. I need a class, I need a course, I need something, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to get me to where I'm trying to go. And so if you don't have that financial capital, take a little bit, even if it's a $10 ebook, or you say, you know what, I'm going to invest in audiobooks and I'm going to listen to it. Like, invest in something so that you can keep building your personal and professional development, because the more you learn, the more you can implement. But the caveat to that is, I'm not learning how to do Canva because I don't sell Canva. So I'm not investing in learning how to do more artwork and do more brochures because that's not something I can sell to my client. But I am learning how to write better proposals and better RFPs, you know, and learning how to do better systems and integrations, and how to, you know, do more strategic planning, because that's what I sell. So I'm investing in so that I can become better, so I can charge more, so I can get a better quality of client. But a lot of times we're like, you know what? I might want to write a book. Let me invest in it. That's not nothing that you can sell to a client. That sounds like a hobby. So that shouldn't be something that you're focused on if you're trying to make money right now. But we kind of get those things confused.
And it's so funny you say that about the social media, because I just seen a post on LinkedIn about people saying, I'm a social media manager and I don't have to focus on my social media. The same exact thing. And people are agreeing with that. And I'm like, I don't know about that one.
So hard to sell. It's like being a trainer and I'm obese. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I used to be back in the day. You know, I used to be the person back in the day. So now you got to bring up receipts and show me articles and convince me. Versus if you were already in shape and practice what you preach, it will be an easier sell. Like, I will be banging on the door. Like, you got a wait list. I really want that. So it's a harder sell when you're not the model. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying that it's a harder sell, and it doesn't convert usually. And you got to work so hard to convince, when if you was just the prototype and the model, it would always work out. You wouldn't have to do all of that.
Right. Yeah. And Bianca, what would you say are so for someone who is maybe a small and mighty team, what are some recommended tools and software that you advise they have in place to make sure that, you know, that back end is in order?
So I would first say, like, make sure that if you get a CRM system and your money is tight, make sure that it does everything that you need it to do. So but I use Vcita, VCITA, and Vcita is also my client. I was a client of theirs before they were a client of mine. And so I'm very much so going to continue to use their software. But a good one that I really like is HoneyBooks. I also like Dubsado. And so those are really good. Like, if you're a service provider and you don't really have a lot of money, your CRM system is the system that you can have that manages the entire business, because all you would need is a CRM system and then maybe like a free conference call or like a Zoom. So that could be your entire setup, which could be $20 a month, or probably free if you're using like a free trial or like a smaller platform. So I feel like those can definitely run your business. And it comes with like proposals and like spreadsheets and like verbiage and like reminders and things of that nature. So you look the part, you run the part as if it is so. And so I would say those would probably be my two, is just like a CRM system, and then like, how are you going to communicate? But if you're trying to like up it and really figure out how to manage that back end, you're going to need an email marketing system. And so the email marketing system I use is ConvertKit, but you can use MailChimp or MailerLite, you know, things of that nature, to be able to build the like, know, and trust and send them those automations and those sequences. That would kind of just be the extra one. Like, okay, now you need an email marketing. Okay, boom. Now you need a client integration system, where that is, I'm so excited we spoke today. Click here to leave us a testimonial. So those testimonial marketing tools, I would probably put that in too. But you can manually do that. But if you're trying to get your time back to where all you have to do on the front end is market and promote, once they say they're interested or they want more information, the systems in the back end can do that for you. But I know we didn't talk about it, but my business model is now 90% digital and 10% service. And of that 10%, Of that 10%, 8% is my government and corporate contracts, and then 2% is just like small businesses. And so I'm into building business models that supports the lifestyle that you desire. And so I'm not trading time for money. I'm very selective on the clients that I take. I only work 4 hours a day. Because most of my money comes from digital. So I've taken my intellectual property to create this lifestyle brand where I sell courses, classes, trainings, things of that nature. And so 90% of my money comes from that. Well, I don't have to be there. It's already automated. It's already done. I've done the work one time. And so therefore I don't have to do anything else. But that 10% now is services. And so I'm very clear on my government and corporate contracts like Mercedes and like BMW. And I live in Chicago. So University of Chicago, Chicago Police Department, like those are like my government contracts. And then 2% is just, like small businesses that are looking to get their projects and back in order. But I cap my income on purpose. I only want to work with 2%. And so we have to figure out, which I'm into, figuring out how you can make more money and work less, which is what we build as lifestyle business models. I want you to be able to work anywhere. I want you to be able to take the type of clients that you want. I want you to be able to decline the clients that you don't want. I want you to have a stream of income that doesn't require you to be there, which is you taking your intellectual property and packaging it in a way where it can go from one to one to one to many. And so that's what we do.
I love that. I love that, practicing what you're preaching. And people, of course, are going to be like, you ain't making this a hard sell, because people are like, okay, I want to work with her. I'm the 2%. So how do I get in there? Like, what is the process of like onboarding with you and what you would do?
So first we do plans. And so I'm a compliance project manager from a government and corporate standpoint. And so I'm the one that's on the construction side. I'm the one that is making sure that we are HIPAA compliance. Everybody is in alignment and in accordance to the contract. So I'm a compliance project manager first. I've switched it when COVID happened to help people launch their digital collateral, which is their products and classes and things of that nature, or they want to take their intellectual property and start to coach, or they want to take their intellectual property and now pitch to corporation. So everything that we do in our business, we do it for outside businesses as well. And so it all starts with a plan. We do strategic planning. And so I want you to be able to see that where you are, if you did this, this, and this, you can make way more money still given the same time and or decreasing the time that you have to make more money. So it all starts out with the strategic plan where we're either mapping out your digital stream, we're mapping out your coaching stream, we're mapping out how you could take your intellectual property now to pitch corporations, but it all starts with the strategic plan. And then from the plan, which is our value proposition, I could create the plan for you, but I also can now build what I put inside of the plan. And so that's kind of where that 2% comes in. Like, okay, we did the plan. You know what to do. Okay, do you want me and my team to do it? Or do you want to hire you a graphic designer? Do you want to hire you a business coach? Do you want to hire you now a consultant? Do you now want to hire you a systems person? Like, the plan is mapped out for you to clearly see who you need to make this happen. But it's just our value proposition is that we can also be the team to help you to be able to accomplish that. So everything starts with a plan. And so we can definitely have a 15-minute conversation to figure out, if we're mutually beneficial to one another and if what you have is actually enough. Because if it's not enough for us to do the plan, then, okay, we have the digital products now to be able to help you to get there and then come back. Okay, and so now let's build the plan. And so we have the digital capacity to be able to help you in or from a service perspective.
Awesome. That's amazing. And Bianca, any like transformational stories with your clients that stick out for you?
Yeah, I definitely am I'm wrapping up now working with a client right now. She is a real estate agent and now she owns her own brokerage. But when she came to me, she was very popular. Everybody wanted to buy a house from her, but she's only licensed in one place. So everybody can buy a house and everybody's not in a position to buy a house. But she's a really well-known real estate agent and an influencer. And so we were able to take her intellectual property and put it into a membership program for real estate agents and put it in some courses and classes to help other people now start their brokerages. And so she went from being a real estate agent selling because she had to, and now she makes 7 figures selling digital products. And so she sells houses now because she wants to, you know what I'm saying? Like, not because she has to. And so that's us really taking your influence and packaging it to now give it out to the masses so that they can make the money and learn from you. And so that's what we do. So we've been doing this. Like I said, I've always wanted to do this, but I feel like you have to crawl before you walk. And I figured 10 years ago when I started it, even though I wanted to do this, I wasn't ready for it. And so I started doing other things that would build me up to eventually be able to do it. And so I tell people all the time, the business that you start doesn't have to be the business that you keep. It could just be the stepping stone and get you to actually where you're trying to go. But you have to be clear. This is where I want to go, but I'm going to start here, do this for a couple months, couple years, boom, phase that out and let me do that. And so we've been on this roller coaster for a very long time, and I eventually ended up where I wanted to be 3 years ago, but I always knew from the beginning when I started 10 years ago that this is where I wanted to go. So, just take your ride and take your stepping stones, and eventually you will definitely get there.
And I love that for you. I love to hear that. And like you mentioned, it is a roller coaster. So how do you stay organized? Like what tools, resources, or just like advice?
Yeah, I'm really into the 30, 60, 90-minute intervals. And so when we make our to-do list, so when you make your to-do list for today, you have all this stuff. I'm going to call the kid at school. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to pay the light bill. I'm going to talk to this client. Whatever the case might be, we have this long to-do list. Once you make your to-do list, circle the things that go together. If it's 10 appointments you're supposed to make on your to-do list, circle those. That could be done probably in 30 minutes because it's really you picking up the phone and making an appointment. So once you do those 30-minute things first in that one interval, now go to the next things. A lot of times we don't group together what can be done together. And so now we're taking so long to accomplish the day. Also, we have this long to-do list and we like, I got all this stuff to do, but I really have to finish this. Okay, well, you're going to have to be finished with something earlier so you can go back to that. Like, we're always playing catch up. And so therefore, we never catch up. But if you make your to-do list and say, you know what, this is 6 different time blocks. Okay, what's going to take me 30 minutes? What's, I think, going to take me 60 minutes? If the 60 minutes is up and you're not done, you can't finish that. You have to go now to work on the next thing, and you have to finish the next thing so you can go back to the other thing. So it really forces you to turn off all the distractions, put on your timer, and really work those things. Because we'll drag out something that literally take us 6 months to do when it really only probably took us 2 weeks of straight focus if we were just to focus and accomplish it. So I'm really big on working in those intervals and timing myself, and then turning off all distractions. Like, you can't call your sister back. Like, you can't call your mom. Like, hey, I got a break at this time. Like, I can call you back then. But really owning your time. And people think because we entrepreneurs that we have all this free time. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no free time. But I could pencil you in for this particular time and just be very clear about it. Like, we were very much so uninterrupted when we work for somebody else. And so I want you to have that same uninterruption as you work for yourself. Like, respect my time and respect what I have going on. So if you work in those 30, 60, 90-minute intervals and you get really disciplined with that, you'll be able to accomplish so much. And when you start to accomplish it, your time, energy, effort, and resources increase, which means that your income in your bag increases as well.
And we like that. Love it.
That's on that.
And what advice would you give to someone in their first year of business?
Oh, and that's when it's like the most critical. I wouldn't take, my advice would be to fail fast. Like, I'm really into knowing that I'm doing 330 and I'm going to crash. Like, I know that, but I'm getting further along than most people taking it slow. Like, I want to fail fast, learn as I'm going down to fail. And then when I come back, I have more resources to tackle it again. And so then when I try it again, I'm not going to fail immediately, but I'm going to fail now 6 steps down. And so let me take those lessons and build them back. And so I would say fail fast, learn the lesson so you can go back to the drawing board, and also be very clear. You're not a failure. It failed. Like, that thing failed. You're not the failure. So you have to detach yourself from it so that you can know I'm a winner, but what I'm trying to create is going to have some bumps in the road. So yeah, it failed, but you're not a failure. And so if I would have knew that my first year, I would have been way farther along. Because, we take it personal, like, oh, it didn't work. We put out our time, energy, and effort. We told the people about it, like, it didn't work. But everybody that you love and admire, Nothing worked for them the first time, not the second time, not the 100th time either. Like, they had to fail in order to get there. And so you're no different. Just know that your failure will turn into success. But if you give up now, you did all that failure and did all of that for nothing. So there's that too. Don't quit.
Well said. And what was the best risk that you've taken?
Quitting my 9-to-5 and really just betting on myself. Like, I think when I quit my 9-to-5, me and he was my fiance, but my husband now, we just had a talk, like, I really want to try this business thing out. And he was like, okay, no problem. Like, I got our bills, but the stuff that Bianca likes, you're going to have to support that. And I was like, okay, no problem. Well, we had that conversation on like a Friday, maybe that next Friday. He had to be off work for 9 months, no pay, because he had emergency brain surgery. And so my little job, my little fun business that was supposed to buy my bags and clothes and shoes ended up having to save our entire livelihood. And so we had just got a new house. My daughter was 3 months old. So like our house was in foreclosure. Our cars was about to get repossessed. Like, it was a really rough time. And so I really had to, like, figure it out. Like, I didn't have the time to like discover it and kind of, walk slow like most people, because I didn't have that covering. And so I feel like that was kind of one of my worst times kind of my life, but it was like the best time because I really figured out, like, I'm built for this. Like, I can do it. Like, it's only a temporary setback. And no matter how bad it is, like, I'm not about to let everything that I work for and what I desire fall because I'm having kind of this rough patch in my life. So that was kind of when I started. But then in 2017, I had a son, and my son, he had emergency brain surgery. So he had 3 brain surgeries. He had 3 brain surgeries before the age of 6 months. And so it was kind of the height of my career because I had got my biggest projects, and the same week he had to have emergency brain surgery, which I'm very clear on. I want to have a lifestyle business model. I want to be able to take my intellectual property, and even though I'm in a hospital with my son, I'm still making money because my products and services are selling. My funnels is good. My back end is good, because life is going to happen. And so since you know that already, like, let's prepare for it. And so then, we have to go through those things. And so I really just want to let you know, like, even though it seems bad and you're going through hell right now, once you come through it, you're going to go through something else, and so since you know that already, like, let's prepare and let's be prepared and be ready. And so that's why I'm really big on you having a business model that supports your lifestyle. You might not want to be 90% digital. You might not want to be 50% digital, but to have something in case you can't show up for the training that you're supposed to do today because life happened. No worries. I recorded another training that I did. And so let me let you watch this training. And then next week I'll come back and I can do the same training for you. So just kind of being prepared for it, because it has definitely been bumps in the roads and a lot of different ups and downs in these past 10 years of business, but I wouldn't change it.
So powerful. And thank you for sharing it. And I'm so glad you were able to bounce back because, it's so resilient. And finally, what does it mean to you to be Black in business?
Woo, baby, it means everything. Okay. Woo, baby, it's just to see how far we've come as people and to know that we are worthy and deserving of the level of success that we require, and that, it's in our birthright to be successful. And like, we were built to be winners, like, but to know that and then to show that has been what we have done. Like, we knew that, but now we on it's my time, it's my season. I'm not holding back. Like, this mine, like, what we doing? Like, we have that confidence now because we've seen so many other people do it. So it's like, if she can do it, like, I can do it. But the caveat to that is the person that's doing it is giving you tools and resources for you to get there faster than we did. And so success leaves clues, but Black success leaves excellent clues. Like, we are very clear of, let me drop this right here for my sis. Like, let me put this over here so he can pick it up. Like, let me go ahead and give it here so that they can get to the next level. And so being Black is just, it's just the best thing ever. And like, I feel like now we own it. Like, now we believe it. People used to tell us that before, like, Black and being Black is great. But now it's like, we wouldn't want it any other way. Like, it's just, it's a vibe. Like, we are it. And I love the fact that, you're creating this space for other amazing Black entrepreneurs and leaders to speak life and encourage other, up and coming Black entrepreneurs to let them know, like, yeah, it's going to be some bumps in the road, but you got this. Like, you're worthy and deserving. It's going to be okay. Like, let's do it together. And so I love that you created this platform for us to be able to come to collaborate and really develop this community, because I feel like we do want to help each other. I feel like we are for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like, we're willing to help those coming up or on the side or at the back or at the front. Like, we're into this collaborative community now. And so you showcase that from this podcast. So I appreciate you for having me.
Oh, thank you, Bianca. This has been fun, and I love your spirit. I love everything that you're doing. I love your realness, and you've given our artists a lot, and they're want to know how can they find you, support you, and connect with you. So please do share.
Yeah, I would love it. And so on my Instagram is Bianca S. Robinson. And so I would love for you to connect with me there. We do have a membership program where it's only $13 a month, the investment. And so there is where non-like-minded people, because I feel like so many of us are into people that think like us. But if you think like me, I'm probably going to be in the same situation I'm in. I need somebody to challenge me that thinks differently so that I can get to the next level. And so I've created this Work Smart, Profit Smarter community. And the investment is only $13 a month, where you collaborate with non-like-minded people that will give you the tools and the collaboration and resources that you need to get to the next level from a personal and or a professional standpoint. You don't have to own your own business. We got a lot of people in there that work a 9 to 5. But it's really... I give a couple resources every single month. We do a big Q&A, and then we do like a networking event. We do like virtual co-working sessions. And so it's really a vibe, and it's only $13 a month. And so we have now 300 people in that community. And so my mission for this year is to have 5,000 people in that community. So I'm really working hard to make that community what I know that it can be.
Love that. And we are definitely going to put those resources in the show notes so that people can sign up and support the work that you're doing, and also support their businesses and their lifestyle as well. Bianca, you're welcome. This has been beautiful. Again, thank you so much for being on the Black to Business podcast and pouring into the community. We appreciate everything that you're doing. And thank you again for being on the show.
No problem. I will love to come back. Thank you.
Well. Bianca gave us some game, and she broke it all the way down. And as she mentioned, you can't check what you don't know. So invest the time, financial, and human capital in your business once you have the opportunity to, because this is what's going to lead you to living and or continuously living a quality life. I also love that she provided ways for you to not be a perfect Patty or Paul, but to put your own stamp of approval on your work, because if you think it's good, your customer is going to think it's excellent. Y'all, this was so good, and I already know that you took away a few things from this conversation. I know I definitely did. So check out more on Bianca and the resources mentioned during this episode by visiting blacktobusiness.com/133. See you next week.